Hi, thanks everybody. Thanks to Cardo for inviting us down here, and a round of applause for that lunch from the sponsors. Thank you so much. That was delicious lunch. So kind of a cryptic title here, but really what I'm going to do is talk about making predictions about individual consumer behavior and then aggregating them up into useful insights geospatially. And before I get started, I will note we are hiring senior engineers at Faraday right now, and so if this interests you as I talk through it, please do reach out. So these are questions that if you are a brand, if you work for a brand, if you work with brands, maybe are familiar to you. These are things we hear all the time. TAM stands for total addressable market. This is essentially the total financial opportunity out there for your company. Personas we've all heard of, out of home we've heard about today as well. And there's a lot of good ways to answer these questions. Traditionally, you would use maybe some top-down approaches looking at economic models to figure out how much people are spending in certain categories, census data, things like that. But at Faraday, we believe that the best way to answer these questions is from a bottom-up approach. So we actually look at each individual person in the entire territory you work in, and we make a bunch of predictions about them. So for example, we could look at their propensity to buy, measured by a probability number. We could look at what customer cluster they belong to. We could even do an LTV forecast model to try to figure out how much they'll spend over a certain period of time. And then we just repeat this process hundreds of millions of times across everybody who matters to you to figure out what all their predictions are, and then we simply aggregate. And I'll get into a case study of this so you can see how it actually works in real life for a brand in a second, but first I kind of glossed over that prediction part, and maybe that's not so easy for everybody. This is what Faraday is all about. We're a platform for predicting customer behavior. We make billions of predictions every day for thousands of companies. For those of you who are more technically oriented here, there's really 4 prediction primitives at Faraday: propensity or likelihood, persona, forecasting, and recommendation. And these things just get made at the individual level about real people using your own data plus a data set we have compiled at Faraday with hundreds of details about every adult consumer. And so software companies use Faraday, our API, to build predictive features into their products. So for example, one of our clients is AccuLynx. They're a CRM for roofing contractors. Everybody needs a CRM. And they wanted to do lead scoring, and so they used our API to figure out the likelihood that each lead in their system across all of the brands they work with is to their likelihood to convert. Brands themselves use Faraday to build predictive capabilities into their workflows to make their business run better and more efficiently. So for example, Sears Home Services, they're the largest essentially broker of repair people coming to your house to fix your washer dryer, things like that. And they have a whole internal application built to prioritize and route jobs. And they've used our API to handle that through prediction as well. And one thing I do want to note, Faraday has been a leader in responsible AI for over a decade. And we have everything from bias detection to bias mitigation, prediction explainability, model transparency, data retention, everything that you would really want and hope to have running a responsible AI practice but never have the time to build yourself. Maybe some of you out there can sympathize. That's all built into Faraday from the ground up. So regardless of if you're a brand or if you're a software company trying to help brands, maybe an agency, a consultancy, really the model that we see as working best is infusing the stack you already use with predictions in order to enhance the kinds of analyses that you can do with those tools. We've been doing this for over a decade. We actually started at the exact same time as Cardo. And that's given us a lot of experience with a wide range of different kinds of companies. Lots of cool case studies on our website to check out. There's one I'm going to talk about today because it has to do with the kind of geospatial analysis that many people here in the crowd I know enjoy. So what they really wanted to do, in case you're not familiar, they're sort of the Warby Parker of jewelry, national jewelry brand and accessories. They sell online. They also have a network of brick and mortar stores. And they're trying to be very smart about how they expand their market. And they're trying to have this led in a data-driven strategy by detecting where there is market opportunity that they're not yet capturing. And the best way to do this is through prediction. So what they did is define a likelihood to buy propensity objective using Faraday. It's very easy. You just basically say, I want to figure out which US adults are likely to become customers. And they also did some clustering work with us. You just choose your customer group and we'll find clusters for you. And then they just deployed those two predictions on all US adults to BigQuery. And this goes back to what I was saying, working bottom up is really the best way to figure out these things like TAM and persona distribution, things that brands are trying to understand about their population and opportunity. At the end of that, this is imagine it's a BigQuery table, and each row is an individual person. We do operate at the individual level, and you can see here that they have a likelihood to buy. This is all probability calibrated, so these are actual likelihood to buy, customer persona that's been assigned. There's a number of ways of doing this. You could, for example, multiply each person's likelihood to buy with the AOV, average order value, that your brand experiences in that area. Or you could actually calculate a forecast for each person, which is an actual dollar spend over some period of time. But end of the day, what you're going to do is aggregate that by state or zip code or DMA or whatever is the useful kind of region for your use case. And you're going to figure out that you've got various addressable market sizes in all your different states. And then you can add that up if you want to get sort of a strategic high-level sense of what your company's opportunity is. You can use lower-level aggregations to figure out where you should maybe open a new store or work with an out-of-home provider to put up billboards, maybe direct broadcast spend. These are all different things you can do using prediction aggregated to various levels. One cool thing I will note, we did a webinar with Cardo on this and Goriana, this jewelry brand. That's Ava up there presenting a map. So you can also load all these predictions into a tool like Cardo, layer on additional analysis like white space analysis and other things that we all love about Cardo, and you can get that as well. Interact with the various features here. There's all their personas, and they're showing a distribution of those personas on the map. And then, just again to reiterate, this all starts from the bottom up. And this same approach of making individual level predictions about people, individual people, and then aggregating them, you can use that basic technique for a wide variety of applications. It doesn't have to be TAM or persona distribution. If you're trying to, for example, figure out how to plan out an EV charging network, or you're trying to do some sort of an infrastructure project or something like that. This always helps to just try to treat everybody in the geography as an individual person, understand their behavior and what they're likely to do and how they act, and then just aggregate that up to figure out how to make your next moves. I'm Andy Rossmeissl. My email is andy@faraday.ai. If you do want to work for us or have any more questions, would love to hear from you. Thanks, everybody.